And when God associates itself with contents, it has added onto its original pure self-knowing nature objects, appearances, definitions that provide it with a shape, a size, a dimensionality, a color, a function, a location, and therefore gives the sense that God is a subject, gives the sense to itself. It is itself deluded, you could say, in the form of your individuation. Your individuation is God in delusion, in ignorance of itself. Hence, there is your individuated sense of self. Doesn't mean your existence disappears, by the way, when you're resting in the I am or in the God state. It's just that it is stripped from all the falsities, all the limitations, all the imaginations, all the definitions and associations. But the I am is ever pure, ever self-reliant, ever self-radiant in its own state, if you will, at its own core, in the heart of its own beingness. The I am is ever pure, and it doesn't need to be purified. The I am itself cannot be purified. So it's really, again, it's a form of poetry. It's a way of saying something that the diluted version of God, also known as you, insert name here, God in delusion, God in ignorance of itself, in a way that God in delusion can understand and can use to remember itself and to free itself from the concepts that it has produced and identified itself with. So when I ask you to become aware of the innermost sense of me, notice how, first of all, you're looking still for a thing or a direction. You might be pointing inwards, which is one of the better delusions to use, to turn your attention 180 degrees backwards or inwards. It's one of those symbolizations of how to get to the pure me. But notice how I'm asking you to become aware of a quality. And it's so subtle, it doesn't have a weight, a shape, a size, a location. It's so subtle, and we're not used to subtle. We're used to gross and overt and dramatic and obvious. So the subtle has become non-obvious to us. It has become ignorant to us. We're ignorant of the subtle. And we're aware, we're knowledgeable of the obvious. But the subtle can become obvious too with practice, with training, with awareness, with paying attention. So when I ask you to become aware of the me, the I am, notice how your mind, if you will, or you could say you, are still looking for a form, a shape, a size, a dimension, a location, a body, a thing. Whereas what the I am is a quality. It's much more helpful to see it as a quality. Being is a quality. And a quality does not need a location, a subject and an object, an over there and an over here, an outside or an inside, a good or a bad, a true or a false. The quality of I am is just that. It's a quality. But we've become so reliant on the sense of self that has been produced by associating the I am with the senses and the thinking, and the concepts and the ideas, that automatically we will try to place the I am somewhere. It's almost inevitable that we will attempt to position the I am somewhere, to locate it somewhere, as if it's in the heart or in the head. But try to see the I am, which again equals God, the great causal body, the enabler and the supporter and the cause of literally any appearance, any perception. Consider it instead to be a quality, not a form. Very important in accelerating this purification process. See the I am not as a form. It does not have a form. And this is what's hard for us to get. This is why meditating on the I am is so subtle. Form is something that has a shape. It can have a location. But a quality cannot be said to have a location. For example, the apple has a location, or the candy has a location. But sweetness does not have a location. Candy being the form, sweetness being the quality. Sugar is a form. You can recognize it. You can move it from one hand to the other. You can give it a location. It is over there and not over there. It is partial. It is dual. But the quality of sweetness cannot be said to have a location. It is a quality. Just like kindness as a quality cannot be said to have a location, position, be somewhere inside the body, be here but not there. A quality already transcends the entire realm that we're used to referencing ourselves by and through, of space and time and objects and subject. So if you can contemplate or even realize the true understanding of a quality, in this case the quality of consciousness itself, then you can begin to purify the sense of me from any added feeling added onto, any extra feeling or thought or perception that has some manner of form, some manner of space, time, location, individuation, subject, object, etc. Shape, size, weight, mass, recognizability. It looks like this, not like that. God cannot be said to look like this or not look like that. It doesn't have a form of its own. It could be said that all forms are the form of God. But God itself is a quality. It's not a manifestation. It's not a form. It's not a body in the typical sense.